is one of my biggest regrets.
Oprah Winfrey says she feels partly responsible. And one of her biggest regrets, she says, was
when you have been lied about for a series of years, how hurtful that is. So imagine that for over a period of months and years, and you know that it isn't true.
She, quote, deeply regrets the royal racist controversy and is very sorry. What do you make of that? All of these regrets, isn't it too late?
Imagine this. The same woman who once gave Meghan Markle the biggest stage of her life just took it back. Oprah Winfrey, the queen of talk, the woman whose 2021 interview with Meghan and Harry sent shockwaves across the globe, sat in front of millions and said the unthinkable. She was wrong, not just wrong. She admitted she was played, lied to, manipulated. And in one raw moment of honesty, Oprah flipped the script so violently, it left Meghan's entire empire dangling by a thread. Because Oprah didn't just retract. She apologized directly to Catherine, Princess of Wales, the very woman Meghan tried to paint as her enemy. And in doing so,
the most important thing for them, before I do any interview, I have a conversation with whoever I'm interviewing and ask, tell me what your intention is, and I will tell you what my intention is, and let's see if we can align those two, because I don't want you to finish an interview and at the end of the interview say, I wish I had said.
Oprah pulled the rug out from under Meghan's carefully built victim narrative. Think about that. The ultimate ally, becoming the ultimate betrayer. This wasn't a polite correction, it was a public demolition. Oprah tore into the lies one by one, live on air, while Catherine stayed silent and still came out on top. And if you thought Meghan's feud with the royal family was brutal before, this betrayal cuts deeper. Because when your strongest supporter becomes your harshest critic, there's no coming back. But here's the twist. What Oprah revealed next made Meghan's humiliation calm.
Oprah wanting to distance herself from Meghan.
She says she's not very friendly with Meghan.
For years, Oprah was the ultimate validator. Her word could turn rumors into truth. Her stage could make or break reputations. In 2021, Meghan Markle knew that. She walked into Oprah's garden interview, armed with her side of the story, and the world listened because Oprah gave her the microphone. That moment wasn't just an interview, it was a cultural earthquake. Now, fast forward, the very person Meghan leaned on to build her narrative has flipped. Oprah didn't just distance herself, she went public, live on air, saying she regrets the entire thing. She admitted she should have asked harder questions, checked the facts, and not handed Meghan a free pass to play victim. For a woman as powerful as Oprah, admitting regret is rare. Doing it on television is lethal.
The color of the baby's skin. You asked Harry about it when he came out. He did not tell you who it was. Harry still is choosing to protect the identity of whoever that was.
Yes, and he did not share the identity with me that it was not his grandmother nor his grandfather that were a part of those conversations.
What makes it sting more is the intimacy of their bond. Meghan wasn't just a guest. She was welcomed into Oprah's circle, treated like family. And that's why this reversal cuts deeper than any headline. Because it wasn't a stranger calling Meghan out. It was the one person who once stood in her corner, who helped amplify her voice, now dismantling it. The betrayal isn't in what Oprah said. It's in the fact that she, of all people, chose to say it. Oprah didn't hold back. She looked into the camera and admitted Meghan hadn't just misled the world. She misled her personally. The tone wasn't casual, it was raw. Oprah said she felt used, that Meghan weaponized her trust to craft a sob story that simply wasn't true. That single admission shattered the very foundation of Meghan's credibility.
I would have taken the Sussexes. So I get a call from Prince Harry on Easter Saturday, and he says, sorry to bother you, but...
What's the secret to your eternal personal glow?
Well, Harry. Meg-goo. Celebrating the sexy earth goddess in all of us.
Remember, Oprah isn't some random tabloid host. She's a cultural icon whose entire legacy is built on truth and trust. For her to say Meghan lied straight to her face wasn't just a correction, it was a public takedown. It painted Meghan as not only manipulative, but reckless enough to sabotage her most powerful ally. And the way Oprah delivered it, ruthless. She didn't call herself fooled, she called herself played. Those are devastating words. Played like a pawn in Meghan's game of sympathy and scandal. Oprah even admitted, I should have seen through it, but I chose to believe her. That was my mistake. Translation, Meghan told the lies, but Oprah gave her the megaphone. For Meghan, that confession wasn't just betrayal, it was total reputational destruction. Live, unfiltered, and impossible to undo.
This preposterous pair sitting down, giving that interview, that awful interview to Oprah Winfrey, calling the royal family racists, false.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially, and what that would mean or look like. like.
When Oprah moved from emotion to evidence, the atmosphere changed completely. This wasn't just an apology anymore. This was a dismantling of Meghan's most famous claims, one by one. She started with the infamous bridesmaid dress story, the tabloid-fueled drama that painted Catherine as the villain. Oprah set the record straight. Both women cried, and Meghan twisted the truth.
Did you make Kate cry?
No, the reverse happened.
In a single sentence, she erased years of headlines that had framed Catherine as cold and cruel. Then came the racism narrative. Meghan had implied the palace was steeped in prejudice, but Oprah clarified it was a single private remark, not the sweeping systemic attack Meghan had suggested. That correction alone gutted one of Meghan's strongest sympathy cards, leaving viewers stunned that such a serious charge had been stretched so far, and Oprah didn't stop there.
My wife is not visibly black, but that's who she is. The way that they speak about her and the way they treat her is incredibly relatable to everybody else of color.
When you have been lied about for a series of years, how hurtful that is.
She revealed how the royal household had actually offered Meghan support, resources, counseling, even attempts to ease her transition. Meghan, according to Oprah, had flipped those efforts into ammunition for her victim storyline. The message was unmistakable. Meghan didn't just misrepresent the facts, she weaponized them. By the time Oprah finished, Meghan's carefully crafted narrative wasn't cracked. It was obliterated under the weight of receipts. Oprah's pivot was surgical. After stripping Meghan's story apart, she turned the spotlight on Catherine, and the contrast couldn't have been sharper. Without raising her voice, without giving a single dramatic interview, Catherine had managed to win over the world simply by living with dignity. Oprah praised her as authentic, steady, and resilient, words that carried extra weight because they came right after exposing Meghan as manipulative. The timing made it brutal. Catherine had faced a life-threatening cancer battle, and she did it with grace. No theatrics, no staged pity parties, no endless photo ops.
Posting up pathetic pictures. This is me eating sushi. Like me. This is me 25 years ago when I was hot. Like me. Oh, it's fucking sad.
While Catherine was quietly enduring the hardest fight of her life, Meghan was uploading glossy Instagram posts and promoting jam jars like nothing else mattered. That difference was impossible to ignore. One woman was fighting for her health, the other was fighting for attention. Oprah highlighted that contrast directly. She described Catherine as a symbol of hope, while Meghan came off shallow, performative, and desperate to stay relevant. It wasn't just praise for Catherine, it was a dagger aimed straight at Meghan's public image. Because in that moment, Catherine didn't even need to respond. Her silence became louder than Meghan's entire media machine. For Meghan, the humiliation wasn't just losing Oprah, it was being replaced by Catherine as the figure the world believed in. Oprah's takedown didn't just sting, it detonated Meghan's entire brand. For years, Meghan had leaned on the Oprah interview as her badge of legitimacy. It was her shield against critics, her proof that she had been wrong. The moment Oprah herself dismantled it, that shield turned into rubble.
I was doing an interview to offer them a platform to tell their story about why they left. And that was my number one intention, was just clarity on why did you leave? And so some of the things that were revealed in that interview came as a surprise to me. And those surprises are now referred to as bombshells.
Every defense Meghan had used was suddenly invalid because the very woman who gave her the microphone now called the performance a lie. What made it devastating was the power shift. Meghan's strategy had always been to control the narrative, to make sure she was the one telling the story first. But once Oprah went public, Meghan lost control. She couldn't spin it, couldn't deny it, because the words weren't coming from a hostile journalist. They were coming from the one ally who had once risked her own reputation to stand beside her. It wasn't just exposure, it was credibility collapse. People who had defended Meghan felt betrayed, while those who doubted her now felt vindicated. In the court of public opinion, that combination is lethal. Meghan wasn't just criticized, she was abandoned. And when abandonment comes from the person who built your platform, the fall isn't slow, it's instant, and it's brutal. What made Oprah's reversal even more brutal wasn't just what she said, it was when she said it. Meghan had just tried to relaunch herself, carefully curating a new image through social media. She rolled out glossy branding, polished posts, and a fresh wave of lifestyle content meant to signal a comeback. For weeks, her team teased the idea of a reinvented Meghan. Then, out of nowhere, Oprah's confession cut straight through the PR shine. In a single broadcast, Meghan's relaunch was overshadowed, drowned out by headlines dissecting her lies. Instead of her new venture trending, the internet was buzzing with clips of Oprah exposing her. The timing couldn't have been worse. Meghan was trying to climb back up, and Oprah slammed the ladder down. Public reaction only deepened the blow, while Catherine's quiet resilience inspired sympathy worldwide.
And now people say reconciliation, reconciliation. We hope the brothers reconcile. What do you say?
I do not get into people's family matters. Nobody consults me about their family business, so I try to stay out of people's family business.
Meghan's glossy posts looked shallow in comparison. Polls showed the gap widening dramatically, Catherine earning overwhelming public support, while Meghan's numbers sank to record lows. It wasn't just bad luck, it was perfect, devastating timing. Oprah's words didn't just sting, they erased Meghan's comeback before it could even begin. For Meghan, it was the ultimate nightmare. Months of planning destroyed in a single night. From her California mansion, Meghan could only watch as the story unfolded without her. Every network replayed Oprah's words, every headline framed Meghan as exposed, and every social feed turned the broadcast into a meme. What stung most wasn't just the coverage, it was the silence. Meghan, usually quick to respond, had nothing. Her team scrambled, but every drafted statement sounded hollow against Oprah's blunt truth. The louder the media replayed Oprah, the smaller Meghan looked. Humiliation spread faster online. Clips comparing Catherine's calm, graceful appearances with Meghan's curated Instagram posts went viral. Hashtags mocking her brand trended globally. Even longtime supporters hesitated, unsure how to defend her when her strongest ally had already withdrawn support. The narrative slipped completely out of Meghan's hands. Worse still, Catherine didn't lift a finger. She didn't comment, didn't post, didn't react. That silence made Meghan's humiliation complete. Catherine looked like the winner simply by existing, while Meghan appeared desperate, cornered, and irrelevant. For someone who built her identity on controlling the spotlight, losing it so publicly was devastating. Oprah's betrayal wasn't just a wound. It was the kind of humiliation that lingers, impossible to erase from public memory.
Everybody who has experienced some challenges in their families with in-laws or brothers or sisters knows how difficult some of those situations can be. And I'm sure that, for the royal family, it's no different.
In the end, what happened to Meghan wasn't just a scandal. It was poetic justice. She had weaponized Oprah's stage in 2021, turning it into her greatest tool against the monarchy. That same stage has now become the hammer that crushed her credibility. There's a cruel symmetry in it. The very person who elevated her story became the one who dismantled it. That isn't bad luck. That's karma arriving on schedule. The irony is impossible to miss. Meghan tried to build power by aligning with Oprah, believing that bond would shield her from criticism forever. Instead, Oprah's confession made her look weaker than ever, like a chess player who sacrificed her own queen too early in the game. Catherine didn't have to retaliate. The palace didn't have to plot, and the tabloids didn't have to dig. Meghan's downfall came from inside her own camp, delivered by the one voice she could never silence. That's why people called it the ultimate betrayal. When strangers turn on you, it's survivable. When fans drift away, you can rebuild. But when your most trusted ally flips sides, the destruction is absolute. Meghan's empire wasn't attacked. It collapsed from the inside. And that's the kind of karma no comeback can erase. And that's the real twist. Meghan Markle, once celebrated on Oprah's stage, is now facing the sting of that same platform turning against her. Catherine didn't make a move, the palace didn't orchestrate anything, and the press didn't have to dig. The shift came from Oprah herself, reshaping the story in front of millions and leaving Meghan struggling to respond. It's a reversal that feels almost impossible to recover from, because when the very person who helped build your public image starts questioning it, the damage isn't just temporary, it leaves a mark. Meghan's narrative, once untouchable, is now under heavy scrutiny, and for someone who built a brand around controlling the spotlight, that's a devastating shift. But here's the thing, this isn't the first time Meghan's public image has taken a hit. If you thought Oprah's broadcast was a shock, you need to see what happened when Meghan's own father finally spoke out about her controversial past. That story shook the conversation in ways nobody expected. Click right here to watch, only on Star Spotlight. The full picture is even more dramatic than you think.